REMBE Pro Cycling! Woo, 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 woo. So, welcome to Pro Cycling Manager 2024, the 2027 season of our REMBE Pro Cycling career mode. As always, brought to you by REMBE Pro Cycling. Of course, today is the first episode of the new season, so a lot of season preparation on the menu. But first, I want to do a vibe check on our team. So, this is REMBE Pro Cycling 2027, basically our team from last year, plus 3 new signings. First of all, Georg Steinhauser, 76 mountains, 75 medium mountains, 73 Hillstad, 74 time trial, basically a German GC rider at the age of 25. Considering his 5-star potential in stage races, I expect some more growth from him. And honestly, the same counts for this man. Marco Brenner, 24 years old, also German, 75 mountain, also medium mountain and Hillstad, only 72 time trial, so a bit worse in that regard. But again, 5-star potential when it comes to stage races, so there's some margin for growth. And lastly, we signed the lead out. Maurice Ballerstedt of Alpecin, 74 sprint, but also quite versatile. With these signings, our climbing squad looks like this. Pablo Torres, Georg Steinhauser, Marco Brenner and Perikas. These 4 riders have 5-star potential when it comes to climbing and stage races, but Louis Jolleur's 5.5-star potential, so he could outgrow them. Now when it comes to our sprinting squad, Teutenberg has managed to glue his skull back together, so that's a win. And next to him, Louis Bauer, Niklas Behrens. We've got Alvarez with 74 sprint. Not sure where that came from. Maurice Ballerstedt as new lead out. Yannick Stammler still here, so we are pretty much cooking there. But we don't have that all-out 79-78 sprinter yet, and that's what I'm hoping Teutenberg will become. Especially if his cobble stat can grow a little bit more, then we've got a bit of a Degenkolb type, you know? Anyway, that's the team of REMBE Pro Cycling in 2027. I can't wait to get started because I feel like we're gonna win quite a lot with this team. Now, importantly, at the end of this 2027 season, 11 riders of our team will be out of contract, so it's gonna be a vital transfer season for us. Especially because right now we're in the 2nd division of cycling, a pro team. I want to become a 1st division team, a world tour team. And for that, our next season transfers will be very important. So I spent the last 45 minutes creating our calendar for the team, and it's a pretty damn stacked season. As you can see on the left, there's loads of moments with multiple races on at the same time. That's because we have like 27-ish riders in our team, so we want them to have enough racing throughout the season so that their morale is not too low. But most importantly, we are starting our season with a world tour stage race, the Santos Down Under in Australia, 6 days in January, so that should be a fun start. Lots of races in February like Valenciana, Bessèges, but also Andalusia and Algarve. And our first cobble classic of the season, Omloop het Nieuwsblad. If we get accepted into the race, that is. And in March I requested a wildcard for the following World Tour races: Strade Bianche, Paris-Nice, also Sanremo, Brugge de Panne, Gent-Wevelgem, E3, Dwars door Vlaanderen and the Tour of Flanders. So I'm not sure we'll get access to all of those, but if we can get a few, that'd be good. That trend continues in April with Roubaix, Romandy, Frankfurt, but also the Giro d'Italia. I'd like the Giro this year to be our first Grand Tour. So hopefully RCS can give us a wild card. Please guys. June and July is pretty relaxed with Tour de Suisse and the National Championships. But in the final quarter of the season, La Vuelta a España, at least that's what I'm hoping for. This is also the first season that I'm gonna take on the role as a coach of a national team. So I'll be riding the European Championships and the World Championships, most likely with Germany. And at the end of the year, we're finishing off with Lombardia. Again, if we get a wild card, that is. Anyway, the calendar is set. It's time to take a look at our sponsor objectives. Now, the objectives for this season are pretty straightforward, but I don't like them. For example, Gent-Wevelgem, gain an invitation to this race. That is completely outside of my control. Same for gaining access to the Giro d'Italia. I want that, but again, out of my control. That being said, once again, the German National Championships road race and time trial, both a top 3 is desired this time. The time trial is a mountain time trial, so Steinhauser and Brenner will most likely be my candidates for this. And I do very much like the profile of the road race. It's a flat sprint, so it's Teutenberg Behrens time. Hopefully this time we catch the break in that race. Last objective, once again out of my control, gain an invitation to Lombardia. The game decides that. Because I wish I would be able to get a top 3 at Gent-Wevelgem, get a stage win at the Giro, because that's what I'd be hunting for. Now the season objectives are a bit more challenging than the last 2 years in this career mode, win 15 races and finish in the top 20 of the UCI World Ranking, but I do still think these are very much doable for us. Anyway, sponsor objectives are done for. Now it's time for me to go through the entire planning of each individual rider and select which races they're going to. So I've spent the last 3 hours doing the race planning for the entire team, and it was such a pain. It's so complex because we have so many wildcards requested for World Tour races. For example, the Santos Down Under. It's not possible to plan the Santos Down Under in my race planner for these individual riders because our wildcard has not been accepted yet. And my only solution I could find was going to the rider objective page and adding the Santos as a rider objective for the riders that I plan to have at that race. That way, there's at least this green line of indication that my riders will not be able to ride any other races during that period. And honestly, the perfect example is May. We've got the Giro d'Italia, or at least the wildcard requested for the Giro d'Italia. It has not been accepted yet, but at the same time, we have multiple races like the Tour de Hungary, the Tour of Norway. If it wasn't for me adding the Giro as a rider objective for these individual riders like Jörg Steinhauser, then there would have been no indication on this page that these riders have a Grand Tour planned in this month. And I feel like the developers can solve this issue quite easily. Simply allow me, the player, to plan in races for which I have requested a wildcard. If those wildcards get rejected, remove them off the page. But at least I can start penciling them in when I do my race planning to make our lives a little bit easier. Anyway, despite the rant, I've done the planning of the entire season, so that's looking good. Next to that, I went over every single rider in our team and applied individual rider objectives for those riders. I'll go over the most important riders for you. First of all, TTT, Tim Thorn Teutenberg, will focus on the Belgian classics initially, so Omloop, Kuurne and Gent-Wevelgem, and also the German National Road Race Championships, because actually the parkour once again fits us. La Vuelta Ciclista a España, so our second Grand Tour, if we get accepted, is the other goal for Teutenberg. So no Giro, because it's hard to combine with the classics, I feel like. Meanwhile, this guy, Pablo Torres, focusing on the Spanish races, especially that La Vuelta a España once again. Yes, there's a realistic chance that we don't get that wild card, but we'll take on that problem when it comes to us. In quite a few races, Niklas Behrens will still be the lead out for Teutenberg, but he's also gonna get his own opportunities. For example, I want to send him to the Giro d'Italia as our main sprinter. Talking about sprinters, Lewis Bauer is actually gonna have a pretty interesting calendar this year. He's gonna be our B-Tech sprinter, I would say, going to 1 week stage races all across the calendar, and he's actually gonna have loads of race days. So hopefully, loads of victories. Now, importantly, for that Giro d'Italia, our first GC leader will be Jörg Steinhauser, pretty straightforward. But on paper, I will combine Steinhauser with Marco Brenner, so a two-prong attack. Honestly, Steinhauser, Brenner, Behrens sounds like a pretty good Giro team to me. Anyway, calendar, planning, and rider objectives completed. What's next? So, I was gonna set up the training style for my riders, but then I noticed I don't have any staff members outside of Greg Henderson, so he's my only trainer, style groundbreaking. We need other styles as well. By the way, a small thing I'd love to see added to this new staff page is filters. I want to be able to filter on nationality, reputation, and style to find the fitting trainer for my requirements. Now, this is a funny one. Jörg Sheriff is actually one of the people that is running the team of REMBE Pro Cycling in real life, so I think it would be cool to hire him as a traditional style trainer. There we go, let's hire the man, perfect. And this one, Tim Zulke, national reputation, modern training style, that's the last one we need. So yeah, we got our trainers, let's apply them to our riders. So I've gone through my team and I've applied the correct axis of training for every single rider. Next to that, applied the correct trainer in terms of training style to those riders as well. But I've noticed that I've got so many groundbreaking riders that I need another trainer when it comes to groundbreaking. Because right here we can see that the effectiveness of Jörg Sheriff and Tim Zulke is excellent because they have less than 8 riders. But Greg Henderson has like 13, so because of that, the effectiveness of his training is very bad. I am going to hire a regional reputation, low salary, groundbreaking trainer. There we go, so I can spread those riders out over 2 groundbreaking trainers. There we go, Henderson now has 8 riders attached to him and Jägerler around 6. They are now both excellent effectiveness when it comes to their training, so that is exactly what we wanted. And I've spent some more money on a scout. Andre Greipel is back after a year of absence. He's back at the team, so we can scout again. And actually, in hindsight, I definitely should not have done that. Because looking at our finances, our projections, we are losing 29,500 euros every single month. That we'll need to fill that up with prize money somehow. And actually, I'll make an even worse financial decision. I want to get high performance tires for every single top rider in our team. I don't think it's worth spending this on the likes of Paul Wright, Boresh, and so forth. 15 riders in total, so 30k to be spent. Let's buy that. There we go. And on top of that, I'll spend some more money. Materials, Cobblestone Classics, 30k to be spent, so a lot of money. Plus 2 on cobblestone attributes for our entire team. So Flemish Classics, Belgian 1.1 races. We would be so good if we get this, so I'll do it. I'll buy it. There we go. But now I'll keep my hands out of my pocket because I can't spend any more money to make sure our team financially survives. Actually, I forgot about an important date, the 6th of January, the date on which the potential of my riders usually goes down. But Today, that is not the case. Paul Fitzke changes from 4 potential to 4.5. What an absolute legend, this man. And actually, fun fact, Fitzke basically means little bike in Belgium. Anyway, a few days later, and we just received a few important emails about our wildcards. Teams for Santos to the Under. We will take a look if we have a wildcard. Yes, we do. Jaco Alula and REMBE Pro Cycling have a wildcard for the Santos to the Under. I didn't know Jaco was a pro team, but I'm glad we're part of this race. Next up, also invited to Omloop het Nieuwsblad, so that's fantastic. Also, Strade Bianche is on our calendar now. And finally, we're also invited to Dwars door Vlaanderen. Honestly, this is very good news because those are races I really wanted to race. And before we start the Santos to the Under, we've also got the announcements of the ASO wildcard. So for example, Paris-Nice, we have been invited. Let's take a look at Paris-Roubaix, and we are going to that race, so that's pretty cool. Our calendar keeps getting better and better. Quick pause, today's video is brought to you by REMBE Pro Cycling, the team we are playing with. They just released a dream bicycle build video on YouTube, where David, their mechanic, assembles one of their Benotti team bikes. If you want to thank REMBE for sponsoring this series, check out that YouTube video, subscribe to their YouTube channel, you can find the link in the description. Anyway, back to the video. Finally time to do some racing, our first race of the season, the Santos to the Under, starting off with a sprint stage, a puncher sprint, I would say, a puncher finish on day 3. We've got a sprint stage again on day 4 and 5 with actually a hill with 20 kilometers to go, so that's intriguing. And lastly, double Wollonga Hill, the queen stage of the race. For the sprints, we bought Louis Bauer, Kiwi National Champion 76 sprint. We've got a lead out in Maurice Ballerstedt, Fitzke, and so forth. And I think Herzog will be our GC rider in this race. But one thing is certain, the sprints will not be easy because Jasper Philipsen is here. Anyway, let's start the 2027 season by beating Jasper Philipsen. With about 26 kilometers to go, we've taken the front of the peloton with our train, the REMBE Pro Cycling train, and it's always fun to see the new names, the new transfers of our team in that train. Maurice Ballerstedt is our lead out for the day, our newest signing. 6.5 kilometers to go into this turn. We've got Scott leading it out at the moment, switching to Fitzke as we speak. Scott out of the way, my friend. 4 riders left for the team. We've got Kilich and Hermans on the ride with Philipsen not in the wheel. 4.5k to go. Herzog time. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Ballerstedt perfectly in the wheel. Last 3.5 kilometers. We're still well positioned, so I'm not complaining. Bauer gets hindered there. That's not nice. Bauer, get back to the wheel. Get back to the wheel. Find a way to get back to the wheel. Who is this Capio? This is Philipsen. This is Philipsen. Actually, I'll take the wheel of Philipsen. Is that a bad idea? I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's a terrible idea. But I'm going to sprint from the wheel of Philipsen, and I'm going to try and come out somehow. We've got Turner on the right side of the road. Can we podium here? Can we podium here? We're going to end up getting 4 for 5th, I think. So we're close, but somehow Ben Turner won the sprint, and I don't understand how. We had the choice going to the wheel of Ballerstedt on the left side of the road or staying in the wheel of Philipsen. Chose to stay in the wheel of Philipsen. Was it the right choice? I'm not sure. But hey, in the end, 5th with Louis Bauer in our first race of the season. Not great, not terrible. I don't think the second stage really fits Bauer that well. It's an uphill sprint, and let's be honest, when it comes to the hill stat of Bauer, 69, so it's not crazy good. Especially because there's so many versatile sprinters at this race. Nonetheless, we're going to try. Actually, the finish is not as steep as I expected it to be, so we might have a chance with Bauer. Last 4 kilometers, 4 riders on the left side of the road, maybe too many riders from our team. I'll move up to 99. Does that spend red energy on the rest of my team? Not really. Herzog is ready for the rest of the lead out as we speak. Do we have too many riders up here? Perhaps. Let's go to 95 on Herzog. Ooh, that spends energy on Bauer. I can't go too fast, can't go too fast. 91, something like that. 90. Ballerstedt can... Should I launch? 900 meters to go? I think I should. There we go. Ballerstedt launches. Bauer in the wheel can launch right now. Manier is destroying us. We're gonna finish like 6th or 7th, or actually 6th and 7th. In hindsight, I probably should have gone for Ballerstedt in the first place with a 72 hill stat. Either way, 5th, 6th, 7th, not the greatest results so far. Now on stage 3, definitely not Louis Bauer time. It's an actual puncher finish. So maybe Emil Herzog with 73 hill, 72 acceleration, or Ballerstedt with 72 hill and 73 acceleration. +1 on Ballerstedt, 73 hill and 73 acceleration. When it comes to Herzog, -1. So I think it's gonna be Ballerstedt today. Actually, despite our mediocre results in the last two stages, we are second in the points classification. So I've got Burnett bringing Bauer to the front because I'm gonna try and take some points at these IS sprints. There we go, last K to go. In the wheel of Berlins goes Bauer. Come on, can we beat Cedric Berlins? We're gonna get second on this one, which is still pretty good. We're gonna try that once more, but Berlins with a sprint earlier than mine, and he's gonna take those points away once again, but we're actually only getting 2 points each of these sprints, so I'm not sure how worth that was, to be honest. Last 3 kilometers, 4-man train, but Ballerstedt is our leader. Bauer is just there for remaining points. Come on, Fitzke. Last 2 kilometers, setting up Herzog and Ballerstedt, 1.8k to go. The climb starts. I don't want to destroy Ballerstedt and Herzog, but people are flying past me. I am gonna stick with what I'm doing right now. Come on, Herzog can take over on 95, something like that. 800 meters to go. I gotta launch right now. But this is a disaster. This is such a disaster. We're gonna finish like 20th. How are we supposed to ride that finish? Luke Plapp wins the stage, but we finished 20th with Herzog. That's an awful result. It's like everybody accelerated with 1.5 kilometers to go, and I just couldn't catch up. Now, on the positive side, we're in the top 20 of GC with 5 riders, so we've still got quite a few riders up there. But despite picking up 4 points at the intermediate sprints, we dropped 1 spot in the points classification. I'll be honest, when we signed up for this race, I was hoping for better results than the ones we have. So hopefully we can pick up the pieces on stage 4, a sprint stage. Because we're nowhere near the favorite for this sprint, I decided to go in the breakaway with Paul Fitzke, and let's be honest, 2-man breakaway. I'm half dead with Paul, so I don't think this break is gonna make it. Anyway, Fitzke was caught, and we've set up our sprint train with about 14 kilometers to go, somewhat caught up on the right side of the road, so let's try and find a way to move up a little bit by going 90 with Paul right now. Come on, let's get out of here. Oh, we're so blocked in with our train. Just as right is done when it comes to energy, I will move towards 95, and can I take the left side of the road? Let's try that. Bauer in last wheel. Let's get right out of the way. I don't want to go all out yet on Scott. Let's move towards 99 pretty soon, but not yet. Wait. Actually, I don't think I should. I should wait as long as possible now. Herzog is ready to launch right now, or at least take over. Lemon out of the way, my friend. Ballerstedt, Bauer, last 3.5 kilometers incoming. 3k to go. Ballerstedt is ready. Let's move towards him right now. Get out of here, Herzog. Get out of here. Ballerstedt can launch a sprint slightly uphill, so I won't launch yet. Let's launch right now. Bauer in the wheel. This is perfect. Bauer versus Walsh. Bauer is gonna take it. No, it's gonna be Walsh. I don't know who's gonna take it. It's gonna be super close. Come on. Yes! We've got our victory. Our first win of the season. Lewis Bauer strikes again and wins the stage of the Santos Tour Down Under. That sprint was so incredibly close. I genuinely thought we lost that. But no, there is our man on the podium. Lewis Bauer, always doing it in the preseason, and a World Tour stage, I'm not complaining. When it comes to GC, we are the new leader by 3 seconds on Turner and Philipsen now. I'm not sure how well Bauer will survive Willunga Hill, but I'm happy to see this though. Also leading the points classification and the white jersey. Now, let's be honest, I won the sprint because all the main sprinters like Philipsen, Manier and so forth finished like 16th, 17th, so they were completely outpositioned. But hey, a World Tour victory is a World Tour victory, and the lead out from Balderstedt was so good today, so we got a win. On to the second final stage then. Victor Harbor, once again a sprint, 1 hill in the last 25 kilometers, but I don't think it will do too much. We are leader in the race, but I don't really feel like controlling the entire stage, so I decided to go in the breakaway with Paul Fitzke. There's 9 riders up the road, so actually a pretty solid breakaway. 113 kilometers to go, and this could be the tipping point, because the breakaway, 9 riders including Fitzke, is now over 11 minutes in front of the peloton, so this breakaway could make it, and Fitzke is the closest rider in GC, so we could take the leader's jersey away from Lewis Bauer with Paul Fitzke, and I think that's a better strategy for the overall GC of this race. Just over 20 kilometers to go, and we've got a hill upcoming, but it's important to note Wright is the second closest rider in GC on 53 seconds. Ooh, attacks are following. Fitzke tries to follow Wright. Actually, a gate, there we go. Can we get to the wheel of Fred Wright and just stay there for the rest of the race? That is kind of my strategy, because he's the only rider I need to watch for GC. Govek attacking together with Hedegots. I'm staying in the wheel of Fred Wright. These 2 riders are on 454 and 325. Not a danger. I don't care as much about the stage as I do about GC. And looks like Lotto is trying to close that for us. Yeah, Lotto has closed down every attack. Last 6.5 kilometers. I'm in the wheel of Fred Wright. Hopefully this is the move. Come on. Into the wheel of the Wolf goes Armirai. We are in the wheel of Fred Wright. Let's do Energy Gel on Fietske. We might not win the sprint, but the stage is not as important as GC for me. So I gotta make sure I just stick with Fred Wright, and that's working quite easily so far. Last 3.4 kilometers, another move by Armirai. Fred Wright closes that for us, so that's brilliant. Last 2.4 kilometers, Hedegaard's goats. Come on, Wright, close that for us, close that for us. Last 2 kilometers, pretty straightforward, pretty straightforward. We're gonna start our sprint right now from the wheel of Fred Wright. We're probably gonna lose the stage, but I don't care. Paul Fietske is the new leader of the race with a substantial advantage on the proper GC riders, with only Fred Wright as proper competition, so I've got this in the bag, right? Arengate wins the stage from the breakaway, all fine for me. The next page is the most important. There we go, Paul Fietske is the new leader of the Santos Tour Down Under by 29 seconds and 3 minutes on everybody else, so we are cooking up something special. Whew, what a stage that was. We've got a stage victory and we are virtually leading GC going into the final stage of this race. Can we bring it home? I think we can. Okay, time for the Queen stage, double Wollonga Hill, but I think it's pretty straightforward. Considering Fred Wright is on 29 seconds of us and the rest is on 3 to 6 minutes, I don't care about the rest. I just need to focus on playing defensive against Wright and making sure he doesn't get 29 seconds on me. That is my only goal in this stage. Come on, Fietske, let's bring this home. 5-man breakaway has formed. We've got Kemna, Hulgaard, Romeo, Adria and Castrillo, so a pretty solid breakaway, but not as solid as our 2-man rolling turns at the front of the peloton, Scott and Bauer. Just over 25 kilometers to go and everything is under control. First Wollonga Hill is about to start, so positioning is key for now. Ooh, is that an attack? Martin? No, I think he's pacing hard at the front of the peloton. We'll just keep rolling with what we have on 85 with Scott for now. Let's do maybe 91 for a little bit. Just make sure we stay in the group. That's our only goal here. Other teams are pacing quite hard at the front of the race, but we are just focusing on keeping ourselves near the front of the peloton because our goal is not to make this race as hard as possible. Our goal is to survive with Fietske. And he has survived the first Wollonga Hill, so 1 to go. Okay, 4.5 kilometers to go. The last climb is coming. Wollonga Hill, Fred Wright is right here, and we are in front of him with Paul Wright, actually. We've got a 4-man train at the front of the peloton, and that's exactly what I want. I want to stay ahead of Fred Wright. Come on, 3K to go. Keep going, Paul Wright. Narvaez has attacked with 1 kilometer to go, but we're not in trouble. We're not in trouble. Herzog will now launch with Fietske in the wheel pretty soon on. Let's do 94, 95, something like that. Let's not go yet. Let's not go yet. Let's not go yet. Let's launch with Herzog. Come on. And Fietske will finish in the top X amount of riders. We've got Luke Plapp winning in the Aussie NC shirt, and we're gonna finish our record in the top 10 with Fietske. And Fred Wright, I'm sorry buddy, but you're in Narnia, my friend. In other words, winner winner chicken dinner, we take home the GC of the Santos Tour Down Under. That is amazing. There's our man, Paul Fietske. I was not expecting Paul Fietske to win GC at this race when I started this, that's for sure. But there is no way I'm complaining about this. Ooh, Lewis Bauer almost took home the KOM jersey. I don't know how, but that would have been cool. Because he's certainly taking home the points classification, so 2 jerseys. And a third one, Paul Fietske takes the white jersey as well, the Zwift white jersey. Honestly, what a fantastic way to start the season. The first 2 stages were a bit mad, then the third one was pretty horrible, and the fourth one is where the ball started rolling. We started to win with Lewis Bauer, and eventually got Fietske in the breakaway, and took home the overall classification of the Santos Tour Down Under. That's pretty special. And here's some more good news. 28,400 euros of prize money. That basically covers our monthly loss of 29,000, so I'm happy. And most importantly, we've got a wildcard for the Giro d'Italia. We're going to our first Grand Tour, and that's bloody amazing. Anyway, that wraps up today's episode with 2 victories, so a pretty damn good start to the season. Anyway, thank you for watching. Also, thanks to REMBE for sponsoring the series. If you want to show your support to them, go subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's in the description. And as always, I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.